This is Hoodies. Word. Can I call you Rose? 'Cause you're sweet like a flower in bloom. Word. Song's been in my head. Welcome back to another dope session of Hoodies the podcast. I'm the host, Degar Rashidi, coming at you live from the Skill Suite. Well, maybe not so live. We'll be coming at you. Blue. So, race against time again. Race against time. Just a little over 30 minutes here, but this is gonna be quick. So check it, man. Quick movie review. The One Love Bob Marley film is a great film. I loved it. So there's a crap load of Bob Marley documentaries out here on Netflix, Amazon, YouTube, what have you. One of the things I really liked about this film is that it provided a couple things that the documentaries don't really show. They showed interaction between Bob and Rita. And by the way, I think the person they got to play Bob was a wonderful choice. Sound just like him, you know, the way he talked and everything. I think they picked a perfect person to also play Rita Marley. Wonderful. It was perfect with the real Jamaican accent, which made the movie really authentic. I'm really digging the fact that Ziggy Marley and Rita Marley was in this film. Stephen Marley, I believe, was musical director or something like that, but he was definitely involved in this film, which leads me to believe that they're also in charge of Bob Marley's estate. Super dope. Super dope. So yeah, you know, outside of the documentaries we've seen, it provided some sides of Bob Marley that the documentaries don't necessarily say. Like, well, at least I haven't seen it. Like, and I don't want to give away the film, but there's another part. Bob and Rita were having this, I guess, an argument outside of some function or whatever. I don't want to give it away, but just their interaction, it showed an insecure side of Bob. Just an imperfect. I mean, everybody's got an imperfect side, but you just haven't heard of it when it came to the late Bob Marley. There was another scene to where Bob Marley's manager was misappropriating funds and something like that, and Bob Marley knocked the shit out of him. You just never seen that. You never seen Bob Marley step outside his bag, or maybe that is a part of his bag. Because of duality and all. I've just never seen that, from Bob. So that, wow, it showed a real human side of Bob Marley. Like I said, great choice of who played him, great choice of Rita. Authentic accent. You really got the feel of a Jamaican, of a Jamaican film. And I noticed there were no subtitles either. But even though the accents were authentic, it was still understandable, by the American ear. If that's making any sense whatsoever. Great film, man. Great film. Yeah, and that's one of the things I was really striving for or hoping for with this film. I was hoping that it was not corny, with it being PG-13 and all. I was hoping that it was not corny, and it was not that. It was not corny at all. Very authentic. It didn't spend a whole lot of time on the music part because this music's been out for so long. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to explain, but it was a great film. It will not disappoint. Check out the film. It was dope. So this film has me really thinking about, and I've probably said this a gazillion times in podcasts before, but it's got me thinking about legacy. It's got me thinking about how I want to be remembered, how I'd like to be remembered, right? Even more so as I'm pulling up on 50 in July, and tying into the last podcast, it's got me really thinking about, well, number one, being more intentional about treating people better. Not that I'm treating people bad, but we could all be better, right? So I want to be that much more intentional about how I treat people. really intentional about showing even more love, toward my lady whom I went to the film with. Just intentional about relationships, period. More intentional about just being comfortable in my own skin, because it's hard for a lot of us men. A lot of us tend to feel a little inadequate outside of the realm of providing and protecting. A lot of us don't necessarily feel, due to social media, because we're all social media and just media, period, and just society, by and large. Outside of that, we feel pretty useless. A lot of us men don't necessarily find value in ourselves when we can just be. Just be yourself. Just sit there on the fucking couch and just be. You know what I'm saying? That could be a little difficult after you're hearing, I want to provide, I want to protect her, I want this, and damn. You know what I'm saying? Um, because you put so much out and you striving to check these boxes, and one of the boxes that we have a hard time checking is just being comfortable and just being authentic in the whole nine. But yeah, legacy. I pride myself on being a man who has a relationship with all his sons. And you may be thinking, well, shit, nigga, you supposed to have that. True, but that's not always the case. It's not always the case, because there's no manual in terms of being a parent, particularly being a father. There's no manual for that, which means there's gonna be some things that you should have said that you didn't say. It may be some things you should have did but you didn't do. You know what I'm saying? And if you're lucky, you can come back from that and still establish a great, or still maintain rather, a great relationship with your offspring. In my case, my sons. It's nothing for my sons to either text me or pick up the phone and call me and say, yo, Pop, I ain't want nothing, I just wanted to tell you I love you. Those are things that I cherish. I cherish those moments. They mean the world to me. If any of my sons are watching this right now, man, I just want to just tell you, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. My grandkids, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. My family, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. But see, also on the flip side of things, right? Just like I was tying into the last podcast in terms of treating people better. Understand that there's always going to be somebody who feels some type of way. There's always going to be somebody who feels entitled, whom you've treated well, but yet they still feel like you just didn't do enough. You know what I mean? You just didn't do enough. And a lot of times that comes from people whom you've done things for. A lot of times people will resent you for what you can do for them, especially if what you're doing for them is something that they can't do for you. They will low-key resent you for that. Most people would rather punch you in the face rather than have you help them, even though they need your help. It's weird, isn't it? Human nature is very, very weird. And then it gets even deeper when we start getting into the human nature of men and women, and entitled people. That gets really, really funky. But yeah, man, legacy. How do you want to be remembered? I pride myself on being a man who is into more than just sports and pussy. I'm into more than just sports and pussy. I'm so grateful that I am a man who has found his purpose and has been full steam ahead on that purpose with the youth, with my mentoring program. I'm so grateful for being in a position to where I can share my failures with, some young bulls. Because for the most part, that's what I'm doing. I'm sharing my failures and my successes. And I'm not talking about success in having material things. I'm talking about the jewels I've learned, the jewels I can drop on them that may help them later on in life. or presently in their lives. It's got me really think about legacy, this movie, and how I want to be remembered. The message, if you will, professionally, personally, romantically, the whole nine. And just striving to be that much more authentic and just being. Word. How you want to be remembered? You know what I'm saying? Do you care? Some people don't care. I care. I care. I care. Word. And also in being intentional about treating people better, constantly evolving and improving. I think it's also important to have an OG in your corner. I think all women should have like an OG sister, or an OG woman in their lives. You know what I mean? Somebody who's going, check them and be like, "Yo, girlfriend, are you talking too much? Are you talking a little too much? Are you saying things, that you could, that you know what I mean, that you probably shouldn't say? Are you thinking first before you say certain things? Are you thinking about how this will affect people? You know what I'm saying? Are you talking too much? You know what I mean? Do you think you should shut up and do a little bit more listening? Just as the same, as men should have an OG that they could talk to bounce some ideas off of. You know what I'm saying? An OG to say, "Come on, brother. Hey, you might be doing a little bit too much." I got clients, OG clients, who will pull my coattails and say, "Listen, man. First of all, stop paying so much attention into what that woman's saying." You know what I mean? Of course, she's saying this, that, and the third. It's to get up under your skin. It's to trigger you. You know what I mean? And some men will say straight up, "Man, your feelings will deceive you." You know what I'm saying? Your feelings will deceive you. Stop being in your head so much. It's a challenge, especially for me, because I'm a thinker. But I think in order for us all to grow, we need to have some OGs. Somebody who's really gonna give us some game. And it may not hurt to have someone of the opposite sex, someone whom we respect, an OG, of the opposite sex, to give us some game from a woman's perspective, from a man's perspective. It truly does take a village, and it don't stop just because we grown. You know what I'm saying? It's about legacy, man, because that OG is leaving a legacy. That OG is leaving a legacy of wisdom. Their legacy is someone whom can give you game. You know what I'm saying? Life jewels. I want to be that. In fact, I am that. You speak that shit into existence. I am that. Word. So my message today is, I encourage you to if you haven't learned already, to learn, because I'm still learning too. Learn how to just be. Even if you feel like you're treating people right. If you feel like you can take it to another level, take it to another level. See, I also want to be also intentional about, I've said this before, like I go where the love is. Yes, because also a part of growing and being better is also being better to myself. Being more intentional about being better to myself. Meaning, this movie has inspired me to be more intentional about how I think of myself, more intentional about how I talk to myself, how I treat myself. So with that said, I'm only going where the love is. And this goes, I don't care if it's family, whatever. I go where the love is. If it ain't love, then it ain't love. If it ain't love there, you won't see me there. And if I'm there, trust me, I'm there, but I ain't present. I'm finding a way out of there. You understand? Yeah, man. So being intentional with the energy that I put out, and being intentional about the energy that I allow in. Legacy with yourself. Word. Always remember that part. Legacy also with self. And legacy in terms of health. Brother Bob Marley he didn't have to die. I think there was a procedure that he could have got done that may have saved his life. You know, he had an untimely passing at age 36. That's pretty young. You understand? So another thing I'm grateful for is that I'm well past 36. So I'm grateful for that. But he didn't have to. He didn't have to die, possibly. You know, as far as he was concerned, Rastafari, Jah would be his cure. You know. And from what I understand, his last words to his son Ziggy before he died was, money can't buy life. Money can't buy you life. Jewel. Legacy. I want to thank y'all for watching this short pod. Thank you for watching. Thank y'all, all of you, for the likes, the comments, the subs, all that. I appreciate it. And I'm really digging not having no paper. I'm really digging just getting up here and just talking and being more intentional, looking you in the eye and talking to you. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, go check out the movie One Love. It's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. If you're a Bob Marley fan, a Bob Marley admirer, you're going to walk out of there feeling pretty good. You know, movie was done really well. It wasn't corny. It was pretty dope. I didn't realize Brother Bob had, you know, them many kids. You know what I'm saying? But done extremely well. Done well. You know, you're going to see a couple people in there whom you've, well, depending on what type of series on Netflix you watch, you're going to recognize some folk in there. But, yeah, man, it's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Check it out. Word. Legacy. I'm the Nagar Rashidi. This is Hoodies, man. Peace. Hey.
Subscribe to this channel. Over and out.
This is Hoodies.